Superboy number 2, written by Scott Lobdell, art by R.B. Silva. We last left off. Superboy was being inscripted by scary dude from nowhere to fight against the Teen Titans. And that was, I guess, the cliffhanger. And then this issue just doesn't deal with that. We open up on a flashback back to Superboy's birth just after he had, murdered everybody. He's being cradled by the scientist who's... I'm going to call her Red, because that's what other people call her, but she doesn't actually have a name yet, I don't think. So Dr. Red is like, oh, Superboy, you're not so bad. You're okay. It's all going to be all right. And some guards come up who I guess managed to survive. And they're like, no, okay, so that thing just killed like every scientist here. We're going to go ahead and take care of him. And she's like, no, not my baby boy. No, he was just acting out of instinct. Don't worry, Superboy, I'll take care of this. Superboy's like, I'm not worried. And he uses his telekinetic powers to lift everyone up, all the guards, start stripping all their armor off of them and like putting them in intense pain. And the scientist is like, okay, before it was about instinct, this seems more like intentional torture. So maybe stop. And he's like, no, I'm not. I'm just studying them and setting some limits. And then a hand reaches onto his shoulder and he's like, okay, noted. And Superboy just goes flying back into a wall and apparently like shuts down, like just turns off. We don't know who the hand is. I read this 4 times. I have no clue who that hand is. And it also doesn't really show that he shut down. The only reason I know that he shut down is because Red says it. Anyway, cut back to now. And the doctor who's taking him out to fight Teen Titans was, taking him out. And scientist Dr. Red was like, no, he's not prepared for reality. We need to run more tests in the virtual simulation stuff. And what's his name? Templar? Zaniel? I don't know. He's got like 5 names. I'm going to call him Templar. Templar's like, okay, well, we're taking him, so either get with the program or get out of the way. And then Rose comes up, Rose Wilson, and she's like, yeah, no, he's a killer. Just because you put that S on his chest doesn't mean all of a sudden he's a good guy. And so I'm going to go along and I'm going to make sure he doesn't screw this up. So apparently this isn't the Teen Titans mission. This is a mission of some genetic lab has gotten out of control. Everybody who was working with them on the inside is dead, and now there's just these superpowered like freaks of nature inside. So Superboy's going to come in and, as a test, see if he can just take care of the problem. There's some banter with Rose where we see that the reason that Rose is brought in is because she's going to treat him like a target and not like a person. So that's somehow going to make it so that she can kill him. But anyway, they arrive. Superboy's like, look, just stay out of my way. I can't. I'm still in the process of figuring out my powers. I can't be responsible for your safety. And she's like, oh, I'm just here to keep you in line. You do you. And then we get the reveal that this place actually is... Yes, technically the story is true that it was taken over by like the freaks and everyone inside is dead. But also it was kind of made to happen by Templar because he's a dick. So they arrive, and Superboy uses his tactile telekinesis to feel that the monsters are beneath them. And then the one pops up and grabs him. It's like some weird shark-looking thing, who apparently is an alien, I guess. Like, he seems to think he's an alien. So, also, this whole time, Superboy's got this internal narration about, like, well, maybe I'm not so bad just because I kill. Like, Rose is a killer. She doesn't seem so bad. She's still walking free. So maybe I can kill people and still be good. I'm like, this is an interesting narration. Rose tries firing off some shots, but they're not doing anything to the guy. So then Superboy just unleashes the telekinesis, blasts him through a wall, and then 2 more of them show up and start wailing on Superboy. The original one grabs Rose and tries to take care of her. But then as soon as it opens its mouth to talk, Rose just shoots it down the throat, which apparently is enough to hurt it. Meanwhile, like I said, Superboy is being wailed on. He genuinely doesn't know what's happening. Like, he's in the middle of that whole, like, maybe I could be, ow, wait, that hurts, ow, stop, no. And then he's knocked unconscious by a giant metal door hitting him in the face. But as he's knocked unconscious, his power levels begin spiking, and his telekinesis just starts ripping everything apart. The helicopter that dropped him off manages to extract Rose, and Dr. Red was like, "What are you doing? We can't leave Superboy down there. We have to go get him." And the helicopter pilot was like, "Lady, I don't know what you're smoking, but there is no down there anymore." And it last page reveals the entirety of this facility and all the ground is just being destroyed by his telekinetic ability, which apparently, because he's not conscious, it spikes because he's not actively controlling it. I guess that's the thing. It's not a bad issue. It doesn't like jump around too much. It doesn't try to explain too much. It does everything fine with what it wants to do. I just don't particularly like what it wants to do. Like, it's playing with some morally gray areas and stuff like that, and I get it. That's an interesting part to write, but like, it's just the banter between Rose and Superboy is like the only enjoyable part in this. Everything else is like, you remember the movie Chronicle. I don't know if you remember that, but that, like, you start off the beginning of that movie like feeling bad for the kid who gets the powers, and then over the course of it you just get less and less feeling bad for him. That's how I feel this is like on the track to go, and I don't want to not feel bad for Superboy, you know? He's the hero here. I want to be able to care about him. So I hope it can turn that around. Overall, I'm going to give this 5.5. It's fine. Art's a little bit iffy at times, but overall it's good. But yeah, the writing is really just like, what? How do you want me to feel about Superboy? Because you're really making it seem like I shouldn't like him. So yeah, 5.5. I hope it gets better, but I'm honestly not holding my breath.